10 ways to identify if a situation is spiritual. Number 1, the way one can see something spiritual is if it defies the laws of physical life. For example, say a person has a headache, and no matter the medication they take, the headache won't end. Odds are it requires spiritual attention. That is prayer. Or if one sees doors closing on their own, or money disappearing at home, knowing very well that nobody took it. Abnormal activities like hearing people talking outside during the night, and yet there is no one there. Even seeing things that are not there physically. Some people may call them hallucinations, but those are signs of spiritual activities. This gets us to our second point, addictions. One of the most addictive things are drugs, and some of these drugs causes hallucinations because addictive drugs opens up to spirituality. That's why people start to hear and see things that normal people are not hearing. Many people think addictions is just something of the mind, but it goes beyond that because most of the things that are addictive have spirits behind, and a rehab alone or counseling alone cannot work. Deliverance and prayer is also needed. So when you've conducted counseling and rehab and still find it not working, then the answer is deliverance and prayer. Point number 3, when something always repeats and happens in a similar pattern as before. Say the way you always get out of relationship is always similar, or the way you lose your job is always similar. Maybe it's always false accusations. So spirits have a tendency of, if you have a particular spirit, it shows its presence by affecting your life in a very similar pattern because it operates in a way that it knows how to. So if it's a spirit of poverty, the way it will be stealing your money from you will be very similar. Say every time you get money, there's always a problem that comes, or there's always an issue that is similar. This is how you can see that this is not normal, but actually abnormal, paranormal is something spiritual. Number 4, near success failures. Usually, there are times where whatever you try to do always, you fail at the point of success. And no matter how good you try to avoid that failure, using all your logic and power, you still fail. This is a sign that this is not a normal thing, and it requires you to pray and to work on it spiritually. Number 5, having consistent bad dreams like nightmares, fighting. And I tell you this statement, show me a man's dream life and I'll tell you what they are going through. Even sometimes not dreaming is a sign that you are being attacked spiritually. These dreams of fighting, of nightmares and eating are usually very bad dreams, and one should sleep peacefully. And if the dreams have no peace, that is a sign that something is happening in the dream realm. Number 6, lack of energy to do the things of God, like prayer and Bible reading and anything that is godly, but a lot of energy to do other things, be it cleaning, social media, talking to people, or doing just anything that doesn't benefit. Number 7, generational patterns where you have the same issues that your parents or relatives had, you also possess, be it poverty, homelessness, lack of marriage, or that these problems cannot be solved by just you thinking on what you must do to solve them. God's help is needed, or rather prayer to change the situation. You can't remove a generational curse of poverty by just having a good business strategy. If you have an issue in your family where there is no marriage, even if you try with your wisdom to try to get a man or a woman to love you, you will not make it physical. You need to solve the issue spiritually by consistent prayer and attention to God's word, so he may lead you on what you have to do. Number 8, When you have used all your strength and wisdom and physical knowledge to solve whatever issue, and the situation continues not to work, even if when you have tried people's natural ideas and still they don't work, odds are that isn't a physical thing, it is a spiritual thing, and it requires you to solve it spiritually. Say you want to find a job, and no matter what you do, you won't get that job, and no matter how hard you try, you won't get this job. This needs you to pray, my dear brother and sister. Number 9, when you always do the same mistake or error in self-sabotage, like you always sleep when you want to pray or work, or you always lose something, your money, your ID, or important documents, or anything that belongs to you that you mustn't lose, or when you always forget what is important, or anything silly like that, or big, or you always get stolen from, like maybe you have your purse, you are walking in the street kids always grab things from you, or you always lose your things that way. That constant bad luck is happening to you. It's not coincidence. It shows that there's a spiritual thing that attracts you to have bad luck, and it needs prayer and attention. Number 10, unusual desires and appetites. When you have appetites for things God did not intend for humans, like eating soil, insatiable love for gadgets and machines, to the extent of loving them more than you love people and God. Some people can love their phone more than they love their brother, or love your car more than your wife. That is a sign of spirituality. It's not normal. It cannot be normal. Things like eating hair, love for evil or demonic things, whether it's music or movies and whatever may be. People think if they like something, it's them liking it. But sometimes it's a game of control. Someone is using witchcraft or spirits to make you love what that thing, be it a car, a phone, a series, a movie, or even a particular shop. Even an insatiable love for your wife can also be spiritual, where now you only love her and no one else, and whatever she says, you compromise whatever you desire to fulfill her desires. So these are some of the 10 issues that are spiritual, that if you are going through them, you can know that these things are spiritual.